Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. 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 North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. 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 Raise it up.
Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is YN Vaughn. I also go by Y. And this is another incredible episode of Raise It Up Y, the podcast. We are coming at you the final Thursday, April 2025. In an episode we are calling Pink Paradise. It's a birthday episode. That's a birthday inside, not inside joke, but it's an inside thing. I'll get into it when we do our YN's words of wisdom at the end of the episode. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for your non-refundable time and energy. If you are a love onlooker, congratulations. You get to behold this beautiful set that my angels, my team, 13 Presents, has made for me. If you are a love listener, I respect and love you because faith comes by hearing, and I haven't met a person who can unhear anything yet. So thank you. However you are consuming this podcast, however you are a part of this world, I want to say thank you for being here with me. Raise It Up Y is where OGs kick game to real ones only. OGs are the educators of my space, and real ones are the students here. This is also where we raise your self-awareness, your vibration, and your capacity for love, which is knowledge. We do that utilizing non-corny positivity from the West Coast to the world, okay? If you are a listener and you've been rocking with us for a minute, you are probably a member of Love Culture. And if you don't know whether you are in Love Culture or not, we kind of do three things. Loves or members of Love Culture are folks that support this podcast and all things YN. They're rooted in three things. One, this is the watering hole. This wonderful place that we call Raise It Up Y, the podcast, is where these beautiful people kind of congregate around one central idea, one central messaging once a month, and they just get poured into. You know, some people can't afford therapy. Some people aren't advocates for therapy. However, I get to utilize this space and make it something that acts as a psychoeducation space for anybody who wants to kind of work on their self-development, but maybe they aren't ready to join a class, take a course, get enrolled in some group therapy or even individual therapy. I believe that my podcast space mixes hip hop education and therapy in a way that kind of entices the curious mind that's wanting to get to know their self-worth. Okay, so number one thing that unifies Love Culture and the Love Culture community is we congregate here once a month and root ourselves by listening to this podcast. Number two, we do good for no good reason on and off of social media. And number three, what makes a love here in this community space is the fact that we love and respect all red-blooded humans, from the Rudy to the Tootie. I don't care what continent you're on. I don't care what ways you position your hands when you pray. I don't care if you voted blue or red. If you align with the vibration of love and you also practice respect for self and others, you are probably more than welcome in this wonderful space that I'd like to call mine, in this Raise It Up Y podcast, Love Culture community space. So I think you guys recognize that my voice is a little more relaxed. That's 3.5 hours sleep for you, huh? Talk to me gently. Hello? Yeah, 3.5 hours of sleep with a little bit of wake up at 6, power through your day, never get back in the bed like you thought you was going to because you said, let me start early, get a little nap and a little power through the rest of the day. Nah, That ain't what happened today. Hear me. What at Lantbo say on Instagram, got to see it through, my boy. You hear me? So yeah, you're getting what they say in the meme. This summer's getting what everybody I give it. No. So y'all are getting whatever version of YN I can muster up in this space. So we're gonna have 2 segments today. A do I diddy. Yes, I realize we've done a do I diddy probably every episode in 2025. I'll come up off of it probably for next episode. And we are also going to do another segment called Raise Them Up, where I get to edutain you, do I diddies, or where I get to share original pieces with you all. And it's National Poetry Month, so it will be a poem again this month. Let's get into some grounding. Let's get into the episode. For those of you that don't know, I am a non-traditionally practicing trained therapist. And my therapeutic edutainment space is how I make sure I share information with you all that is, helping your improvement and deepening your understanding for self. And in all of that, I want you to get ready to do what in the world of therapy we call separating space from whatever type of time you was on before you came to this podcast, and get ready to receive, get ready to be poured into. Prepare yourself for this space here. And we do that by getting really present in a way that's called grounding. Take a moment. Be here with me. Hear my voice. Feel your feet. Wiggle your toes. Touch your nose. And just recognize that you're here. Breathe a breath in. Blow a breath out. Again, do that in through your nose and out through your mouth. And take a moment. Own this. You are in a miracle called life. That you're breathing. You are winning just by living this life. And just by spending this time with my voice right now. You're investing in your betterment. I'd like you to sit with that and feel proud. Welcome. Let's go up. With no further ado, let's get into a do I diddy. Do I diddy segments are ones where I get to share some beautiful energy with you in the form of original work that I've put out. And by it being National Poetry Month, I have a poem, as one of my loves would call it. I have a poem for you. In my book, Write Out, that came out in 2018, this is the first poem that I wrote in the book. The first poem of the book was actually written by a bunch of my students back in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. Beautiful photography by our good family friend who we lovingly call Bananas Foster. And he has award-winning photography here in this book that he shared with us. And also, I'll read the poem and then I'll explain it. Explicate it is the word that we're using tonight. So this poem is called Clarity. Moment of clarity. Thanks for you sharing me. More of my life spent with you than there'll ever be. Thanks for the memories our life has given me. Thanks for the laughs, sweat, and tears of our history. Thanks for you loving me, somewhat like honeybees, working to find where I'm sweet and it sometimes stings. dying. Sometimes death brings crying in trying times, but what else would clear the wells of our prying eyes that seek but seldom find, our meek and tender times that treat and remind us why I'm yours and you're mine? Clarity. I think these moments take care of me. I think that my love for you may end up scaring me, and so I make anything amount to everything and fight for freedom despite that I've never been. Hey, you've been my paraffin longer than I have been. You've been my anchor. I've never known how to swim. Using your strength as my weight, I've learned how to live. You've kept faith in me at times longer than I did. Clarity clears clunky clutter and muck. These times make me shudder. I'm too opened up, so I hide behind substance and lies, the hair of me. But when it's all over, and when I'm sober, there's clarity. This is going to be a little bold, and I hope my parents aren't listening. I wrote this poem about my parents' marriage. I wrote this in a time I saw them navigating through marital challenges. You know, my parents will celebrate 46 years of marriage this year in August. And as a witness to damn near 50-year-old love and relationship between two people, what I can guarantee anyone who looks to unify a family in the way of marriage, you're going to go through times where you're sober and you can really see the person in front of you. And then there are going to be times when you're kind of sleepwalking and you're drunk in love or you're high off life, maybe not even with the person that you're with, but like you might be experiencing a high point in your career, imagine. And as a result, that high is like a controlled substance, and you're not really able to be present when you're there with your partner at home. Or if you're drunk in love, and maybe your love is for your newborn child, and you're so deep in that thing that in some way, shape, or form, you end up losing a little bit of your zest for your partner. Imagine. These are the ways in which I've seen, just some small examples, my parents kind of zigzag at some points and roller coaster up and down arcs and valleys in their almost 50-year marriage, right? And I bring that up because, in 2025, we're throwing back episodes. We're throwing these episodes in 2025 back to episodes that have already passed, just to show the extent of knowledge, wisdom, conversation, journal prompts, that we've covered on this podcast in its 7 years of existence. And we're building the 7th year, so it's 6 years of existence. And I want to take it back to episode 50, YN's Words of Wisdom. I talked about the concept of being seen as opposed to being looked at. And sometimes in relationship, we can get so familiar. My boy Ninth Wonder, I can hear him saying, and familiarity breeds contempt. Sometimes you get so used to being around someone or something that you take it for granted. Or furthermore than taking it for granted, you resent it. You look at the thing that's been in your midst and been there for you, been down for you, and you mistake your partner holding you down for your partner holding you back. But you only do that when you're not rooted in your own sense of self. And when you can't see your partner, it usually is a firm indicator that you're having a tough time seeing you. And those are the clarity, sobering moments that I wrote about. Back in episode 50, I differentiated validation seeking from being affirmed by one's environment. And I go into more detail clearly back on that episode. And that's the kind of the point I want to bring these topics up so you have connection, just to 13 different episodes as we do this year. And I suggest you to go back to different episodes in the past. Is that my cat? Is that in the back? That is so loud. That sounds like my cat. Yeah. My niece is in the back of the house. Mate calling? I don't know. Like, she's cat calling. You can't even make that one up. She's actually calling someone's cat. But I feel like that's a pause in some space. But anyways, being affirmed by one's environment has become something of a bit of paramount importance for me personally, as of late. And when you are, going through tougher times in life, having folks who have a clear view of you, such and so that they could, the definition of intimacy, psychologically mirror you. When you're going through a tough time or a hard time, they can see that and see you in that and affirm and witness, hey, I'm here. I'm here. No judgments, not trying to change a thing. You have a friend. You have someone here. That sounds maybe oversimplified or contrite. However, when you're getting through grief, moving through the grief cycle, when you are dealing with heartbreak, which is a different way to talk about going through grief and things like that, where relationships are concerned, having an environment that can see you in your, what we're going to talk about next, the difference between honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. They can see you in your vulnerable state and provide you feedback from a space of protection, accountability when needed, and no accountability takes place without love. Y'all know we love culture, love Tuesdays, love lounges. We love, right? But what we also need to make sure we talk about when we speak on love is the fact that love by itself has less merit or meaning than some people give it credit for. Because having love for someone without proper communication will never keep a relationship alive or healthy. Having love for someone and faith that things will get better sometime down the line with the absence of work, well, that's biblical at that point. Faith without works is dead. So love is amazing. It's beautiful. It feels awesome. Without love's homeboys and homegirls, communication, honesty, authenticity, vulnerability, openness, value conversations, communication, consistency, discipline, planning, trust. These are a bunch of things we can talk about when you want to talk about love without speaking on love's allies. Love by itself becomes fluff. It becomes a bunch of podcasters with mics on Instagram. It's nothing. So as I wrap this do-I-diddy on clarity from Right Out and remind you of YN's Words of Wisdom episode 50, which was being seen versus being viewed or looked at, recognizing how important being affirmed by intimate relationship, whether romantic or not, intimate interpersonal relationship, especially when you are learning to build deep, real intimacy with yourself. Yeah, those are the times when you really need to know how you look from people directly around you. And that's this, concept of adult friends that you've heard me talk about on this podcast several different times. I've already thrown the podcast back to that, and I might even throw a What About Your Friends Part 3 in here because I think it's applicable for obvious to me reasons. But let's keep going. Raise them up is the next segment. Raise them up is the portion of the podcast where I get to educate and entertain, or entertain in an educating way. 3 words. I just spoke about them a second ago. Honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. Honesty, per Google, is the state of being honest. And honest means free of deceit and untruthfulness, aka sincere. Honesty is sincerity. 2, transparency. I took this whole little paragraph. Transparent simply means allowing light to pass through so that objects on the other side can be clearly seen. In other words, it's the quality of being see-through. Additionally, transparent can be used figuratively to describe something that is easy to understand or that is not secretive. That's transparency. Vulnerability, number 3. All this is according to Google. Susceptible to physical or emotional harm or attack. So the synonym, if you will, for vulnerability in a psychological setting, let's use the word open. I forgot where I first heard this, but there was a picture given to me when I first learned the word vulnerability. I was in high school, and someone said, imagine a child running into the street to fetch its ball that might have got out of the lawn of the front yard. Everything you think about that child in a street and semi-busy street, all the feelings that you feel, that is the picture of vulnerability, something that is susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. So I can't remember who gave me that, but that's something I give you in case it helps. Once again, when we're using it emotionally, we're talking about openness. Vulnerability is maybe the deepest type of honesty and self-awareness. Transparency is maybe the second degree of that, and the most surface in all 3 of these words is honesty. Honesty just means if I have a question about something that you could have maybe told me on your own about, but you didn't, if I asked you a question about that topic, you would tell me the truth. That's honesty. Honesty requires a person to pry for it, to ask about it. And then an individual, if they are honest, tells the truth. Okay, cool. Transparency is when an individual has a secret, has private feelings, something that someone couldn't see on their own. It's not written all over their face. It's not wearing your emotions on your sleeve, something that's going on internally. And because they are okay enough with themselves to just offer truth, they will come to a partner, their partner, a friend, whoever the other person in the relationship is, and they'll say, hey, can I be transparent with you? I'm allowing the light to be seen through. It's clear, and no one had to ask me for it. That's transparency. And vulnerability is having such a depth of relationship with yourself that you stand by yourself, own your truth, don't practice self-abandonment, even when doing so can mean rejection for you. It's a level of stand up 10 toes in it, not letting nobody or nothing knock you off your square. And it takes a stand up, strong individual to practice vulnerability constantly, and not just when it's possibly convenient. I bring these up. Number one, love culture. You asked me for this at least 3 months ago, and I'm finally bringing it to you. Congratulations, whoop-de-doo. That's number one. Number two reason I'm bringing honesty, transparency, and vulnerability up is to scaffold the point in my poem Clarity about my parents, and just any, relationship that lasts and stands the test of time. There are going to be times over a long-term relationship where the parties can just lose sight, man. And if parties lose sight, involving themselves in one another's lives, it's an honest, real space that they can either be honest, transparent, or vulnerable about. If things are weird and things are different, and someone can feel your energy from the weird differentness, and they have to ask you, you're practicing honesty if you tell the truth. If you're feeling weird and different from a damn near 50-year way of loving, and you want to broker the conversation without someone having to pry it out of you, you're transparent. And then vulnerability is, hey, here's my truth. I don't know how you look at me after this. I don't know what we make of this after this. But here's me, naked and unashamed. I'm open. I'm susceptible to your rejection, your emotional harm, attack, your physical. I'm susceptible. I'm here. But this is who I am. All of that sounds good. Practicing it is a whole different can of worms. But I wanted to at least explain those three in my terminology so that loves, you guys could hear this if ever you are in a relationship with someone and you're trying to convey this difference between these three terms and you're getting shut down. You're getting invalidated. No one's listening to you. Gaslit, fun words like that I hate. But fun words. So I hope that was insightful and helpful just to hear that breakdown in my own language. I want to move on to Ryan's words of wisdom. We getting through this episode. I told y'all these eyes were made for closing, and that's just what they'll do. Hey, Ryan's words of wisdom, episode 82. Fight with faith. Fight with faith. This is not me saying for you to fight with your virtue of faith, with your belief in faith. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying anything worth having that you dream for, not that you study for, not that you work for, not that you could gain for certain on your own. For people looking to gain their sobriety in the recovery community, they need faith. For people looking to remain on the outside of them walls and not contribute to recidivism, they need faith. For folks looking to turn away from gang culture and find a new and renewed sense of purpose, deeply rooted, going a new path, and all they've ever known was the streets, they need faith. If you're an individual who is a habitual liar or an untruth teller or duplicitous or a cheater, adulterer, womanizer, however you want to look at it, and you are practicing authority within yourself that says, as a man thinketh, therefore he is, at this moment, I am changing my ways. I am going to be more authentic. I am going to be more honest, transparent, and vulnerable. I am going to be open to the possibility, the capability that I know I have to turn the right direction and start taking, even if it's just baby steps, start taking steps. That person needs faith. Faith is the hope for desires and things unseen. There's no lawful evidence that says, yeah, you know what? I know everyone in your family is overweight, but you want to be the fit one. Okay. In that conversation, there is no data, there is no history of, there is no evidence that says the person that thinketh differently from being morbidly obese will be. But without the person having faith that they can be a healthier version of themselves, they are bound. They are optionless and bound to repeat the history of everything they've ever known. When you're faced with a crossroads that asks you, do you want to be the dopest version of yourself or the version of yourself that you've always known? That's a faith question. This is a test. And for some people, the certainty of even a loss or a failure feels more comforting and safe, quote unquote, than seeing the quote unquote right thing. Turning your efforts, turning your light on, and turning your energy towards that and going that direction. And I'll use myself as an example. I told you all last year, right before I got USC, that I listened to a TED Talk by a guy named Peter Sage. And bro said, you will never rise above the opinion you keep of yourself. And I took that literally. And I says, wait, so the only reason I'm not working at a university that I love is because I don't think I'm worthy of it in some way, shape, or form? Because your subconscious will continuously have you trading B-level gigs for B-level jobs. Not C-level, like CEO, CFO, COO, but C level in the terms of like grading as an educator, average. You know what I'm saying? You will keep trading average pay and average job over and over and over in your life until you decide, I'm actually doper than this. I'm better than this. I'm more skilled than this. I have more than this. And I can attract a better position. I can. Start your faith walk. In that statement, you start your faith walk because of the simple fact to do something, because of the simple fact that to do something that you've never seen done previously, you have to take a strong stance and decide where you're going from here. I think of Harriet Tubman taking a shotgun on the Underground Railroad with her. And if anybody got scared and wanted to turn around, she was like, your fear can interfere with all of our freedom. So maybe you should just keep pointing north. Maybe you should just keep walking towards the promised land where you said you always wanted to go. Maybe. Or catch this certain fate. You understand me? For any of us faced with a crossroads, that meant that we left certainty behind. My YN's words of wisdom are to fight with faith. Fight. What are we fighting? You're fighting your fear. You're fighting self-doubt. You're fighting guilt. You're fighting depression. You're fighting low self-esteem. You're fighting low self-concept. You're fighting questionable self-worth. You're fighting the hood. You're fighting generational curses. You're fighting idolatry. You're fighting ignorance. You're fighting complacency. If you are deciding to, like this podcast, get in your rockets and go up on these hoes, if you are going up in life, if you are raising the bar and raising it up, what's the hell's the point of raising the bar if you still plan to only jump so high? Why'd you raise the bar? You generally raise the bar because you've been practicing all this hurdle jumping and now you are ready to mastermind it. I encourage you to dig in to your faith walk, however you believe, wherever you go and however that looks for you. But faith is fueled by hope. Hope is the virtue earned when you learn to expect that you can trust. Consistent trust breeds hope. And trust is a belief that something will occur. So the continuum of faith, if faith is the end goal, if we've walked it back, to get to faith, you gotta hope. To get to hope, you gotta trust. To get to trust, you gotta believe. Believe in something bigger than yourself. Believe in something better than yourself. Believe that life can be whatever you decide you want it to be. And as I know a bunch of West Coast hip hop players to say, and you best believe, trust and believe. You best believe and you trust and believe, huh? The belief as you continue to do it, turns into a sense of trust. You trust consistently and over time with discipline, a bunch of consistent behavioral process patterns of showing up for someone or having someone show up for you. Yeah, you learn to trust that person. And when you can continuously trust, you hope. And when you have hope, hope is the gasoline that fuels the car called faith. Don't let heartbreak, don't let grief, don't listen to what people say. Don't let what people say. Don't let what your family members say. Don't let what you yesterday with misgivings in your heart said about you yesterday. Don't. That's not the answer. Fight the good fight, and you fight it with faith. And faith without works is dead. So, are we fighting? Yeah, we're fighting. Prayerfully. If you're ready to go up, you will take on the fight with faith. And that concludes Raise It Up Wise 82nd episodes, YN's Words of Wisdom. And before I get up and motherfucking go to bed, cause I can't wait to get in the bed right now. Might not take off my slash. I might not take off my lashes, cause I don't feel like doing the motherfucking thing. Yeah. I don't feel like doing shit but getting lit and getting in my bed right now. Don't tell me I don't love y'all. Pay your dues. The portion of the podcast where I share with you amazing companies, individuals, businesses that I love and I feel you should love too. Always number one on this list. Always number one on this list at ILOVETHEDOUX at I Love the Do. My cousin and founder, CEO, head MC, Master of Curls and Do Gang. Talk to them nicely. My cousin Maya Smith has some new products, and between Chief Rocker and Honey Butter, they got some of my family members' hairs, my niece and nephew to be exact, got them looking very freaking nice. Speaking of people having hair looking nice, at Hair by Quista? Is it Hair by Quista or Hair by QT? On Instagram. HAIRBY. I think it's Hair by Quista, huh? Hair by Quista. But she goes by QT. Hair by Quista. If you are a love onlooker, then congratulations. The fuck. But yeah, these beautiful curls, all this beautiful hair with this beautiful little, I don't know if you see a little color popping off it. You understand? I had a little color enhancement, a little sauce put in my hair. It's called cellophane, actually, guys. It's a deep conditioner for the hair, and it acts as a heat protecting mask. It's a long story, but anyways, my Hair by Quista, thank you so much for taking me on such short notice, and I love you. At HARONI.arrangements. Haroni Arrangements created these beautiful, I love this. Let me smell it. Damn. The white roses, they smell really good. What are these? Those sunflowers? That's not sunflower. Too small, right? Too small to be sunflowers. If you are a love listener, Haroni.arrangements is powered by, fueled by, at Onet_Ashe, one of my angels. If you've been in love culture, you have to know this woman because she's my brain. This arrangement is yellows and a little orange inside, no? Almost like a brown, maybe orange with yellow with like a little brown in the center, sort of a thing. Beautiful white roses. I don't know what this is called. These flowers back here. It almost looks like a very small tiger lily, but these colors are crazy. Yeah. I don't know what you call those. But if you are a love onlooker and you are on YouTube, tell me what the hell these are called. Huh? Can you? Okay. Hadoni Dot Arrangements has to be some of the most beautiful flowers in Los Angeles. I gotta be honest with you. HARONI Arrangements. Hit my love anytime you think you want to celebrate the person of your dreams so that she can make you one of these extraordinary arrangements. I mean, goodness. Number 4, love culture. Look, dude, you know I love you like cooked food. Hello? Y'all is that. Love culture particulars. If you see these flowers back over here, they were purchased by Love Badger, aka Miss Deborah of Love Culture. They are gorgeous. Wendy got these. My Auntie Pat made me those. So if you are not looking at this point, what I just said means zero to you. But over my right shoulder, there's 3 different arrangements. One by Wendy, one by Love Independent D on Instagram, and then also the third is by Auntie Pat, who I would tell you her Instagram, but she checks it like once a year. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, for sure. We're also making sure that you remember not only is Right Out available on ynvon.com, also A Woman Winning from the West Side. That definitely sounded like Independent D. But yeah, Love Jodi's Love C-Red came out and supported my birthday this past week. This has been a fun coming up. This 43 has been widely anticipated by me. And now I'm here. And you know, I'm icing my knees every day. Anyway, so, life. At Raise It Up Y is our 5th and final shout out. I'm always thankful for every one of you that comes to this space, to this place with the energy of between a church and a hip hop concert. I don't know what you guys be thinking I'm gonna do. Cause half the time I don't know what I'm gonna do if I'm gonna be honest, you know what I'm saying? So, for all those people in love culture and for all those people who really get down with Raise It Up Y, thank you from the bottom of my heart and with sincerity. I appreciate you. I see you. I love you. And like I said, we in, we out. You see what I did. You see what I'm doing. You see what the vibes. Anyways, ladies and gents, thank you for rocking with a real one. Thank you for being in this space with us tonight. And same bad time, same bad channel. 1 month from now, last Thursday of every month. Look forward to welcoming you back in my space. Until then, stay real, y'all. Boom cat, ding ding ding. Hey, ding. That's what I'm gonna be doing by the time you guys see this.
Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise